This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Squarespace. Coming up on Destructoid, Defense of the Ancients 2 has some leakage, Max is terrified of Dark Souls, and Arkham City is about to get a little bit colder. All this and much, much more coming up on Destructoid. Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Monday, Max.
I wouldn't go that far.
Why?
I don't like Mondays. Hey, look at my shirt. It is Caliber's Fine English Ketchup. It is the official ketchup of Metal Gear Solid, which you've seen in the first Metal Gear Solid when you're in the jail and you get covered in ketchup. Anyway, you can get this and other ridiculous video game themed shirts at insertcoinclothing.com. They sent me a shirt, so that's nice of them.
You're looking rather voluptuous today.
Yeah, well.
It must be that shirt.
Ketchup.
Yeah.
It's cool if I spill ketchup on it, I'm good.
Okay.
Hot dog day.
Let's start the day off with some polarizing news, because that's, how I like to do things. I like to upset
Tell us
people
about
right
the polar
off from the
bears.
bat. We've been hearing a lot of conflicting opinions lately on whether or not the PS Vita is going to be successful. I think, we can all kind of agree that it's got solid hardware in it. At least that's what they're telling us. But who knows how it's actually going to do once it hits the market. So last week, Ken Levine said that there was a hole in his soul from the lack of good shooters on handheld consoles these days. And he felt that the PS Vita might be able to, patch that hole right up and offer him, some good shooters.
That's a poor guy.
This week, however, it's gotten some not so favorable reviews. Lyle Hall and Matthew Seymour, who are two of the guys from Heavy Iron Studios, which is the developer behind UFC Personal Trainer and a few other Pixar movie-based games, they're sounding off about the handheld as well. Hall recently said, quote, "If people aren't willing to pay $249 for Nintendo 3DS, why would they pay $299 for Vita? People don't want to carry more than one thing in their pocket. That's why Android and iPhone have done so well. They're the devices of choice. They offer multiple functions outside of gaming." Seymour added to that by saying, quote, "With all due respect to Sony and Vita, it's a car wreck. And how about Xperia Play? I'd love to pull up the numbers on that."
Ooh!
Sick burn, bro!
You've been told.
You got told. You know what, though? I can't disagree with that. It doesn't matter how good a piece of machinery it is, people won't buy it if they can't afford it. And the market is changing, and it's been changing for years now, and I've said it, and I'll say it again. It's happening because of our own selfishness, People want constantly evolving technology, but they don't want to have to carry around more than one electronic device because it's 2011, and that shit is heavy. And also, where are my flying cars at, huh? Where? It's 2011, guys. Anyone? Do you see one? Because I was promised
I wouldn't
this
trust
by
you
the
in a
year
regular
2000.
car, let alone a flying car. Anyway, Tara, I got some bad news. People are offended about something in video games. Would you like to hear about it? It's good. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
First, it looks like a bunch of Christian law enforcement groups have banded together in their outrage over The Darkness 2.
Oh, that makes more sense.
The International Christian Police Fellowship, the Christian Police Association, the Swiss Christian Police Association, and the Germany Christian Police Association have formed a coalition to write an angry letter to politicians and developers. In this letter, they voiced their concerns that The Darkness 2 idealizes violence and promotes the hatred of law enforcement. If The Darkness promotes anything, it's the coolness of having tentacles that look like moray eels, and if anything makes me really hate law enforcement agencies, it's when they decide to single out a video game for making people hate law enforcement agencies. Next, it looks like a leading expert on pissing me off has decided to come forward and say something to piss me off. Noel Gallagher, the guitarist for the band Oasis, decided to chime in on the relationship between the UK riots and video games. "We live in this age of violence. I don't care what other people say. Brutal TV and brutal video games are a reason for this pointless violence as well. The people are immune to violence. They're used to it." I wasn't even trying with that impression. I just don't like the man. Noel, I know you're not watching this because you're super famous, this is a small-scale video game show, and your head is all the way up your ass, but if video games are responsible for the UK riots, Oasis is responsible for date rape. No, really. I know how many frat boy D-bags learn how to play Wonderwall on their guitar just to impress drunk chicks. You're fucking guilty. You and Jack Johnson and Jason Mraz and John Mayer, you should all be in prison. I mean, if these guys can blame real-life violence on video games, I can blame date rape on their fucking acoustic musical roofies.
Hey, it's a valid
Take that.
argument.
Finally, we have something that offends me. The ESRB has released its rating of Dark Souls, the follow-up to Demon Souls, and here's what we've learned from their report. The game has pools of blood and cries of pain and flaming bodies impaled on spikes. It also has the beheading of a multi-headed dragon. So multi-headed dragons are neat, and I'm okay with this. But apparently, one of the game's female enemies is topless, but her breasts have been obscured by hair, very carefully, which is, I mean, that's fine. I don't have to look at tits, but as long as I don't have to look at exposed bird butt cheeks. Oh, what's this? Dark Souls has bird-like humanoids with exposed buttocks? Gross. I'm sorry, Dark Souls, you just lost a customer. I was gonna buy the game day one and probably beat it in a day because I'm super good at video games, but now I'm not gonna buy it because it has bird butts in it. Thank you, Tara, back to you.
You were gonna buy Dark Souls?
No, that game would have obliterated me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bird butt cheeks, good excuse not to play. Let's talk about anything else.
Okay, how about more handheld news? Anyone? No? All right. Well, it's exciting, I guess.
Tough crowd.
Amazon is having a pretty big sale right now on a bunch of their 3DS, PSP, and DS titles. So if you get a handheld, it's your time to shine. It's their summer road trip handheld gaming event, which would be perfect for you kids road tripping it up to PAX this year. They're about 25 to 50% off on average right now. So if you wanted to, let's say you could grab Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together for the PSP. That's $15. And you can get Dead or Alive Dimensions for the 3DS. That's on sale for $28 right now. And you could pick up Plants vs. Zombies for the DS for $15. Or if you really, really hated yourself or have kids, whichever, you could grab Cooking Mama 3 Shop and Shop DS for only $10, rated 4.5 stars out of 5 on Amazon. Along with James Cameron's Avatar the Game for the PSP for $11, rated slightly lower at 1.5 stars. And last but not least, for $10, you could pick up your very own copy of Jonas, the interactive Disney game that lets you become your favorite Jonas brother. Currently at 4.5 stars on Amazon for reasons I do not fully understand. And that's the summer sale. There's over 100 games on sale, so if none of the ones that I mentioned are your fancy, go check out what else they've got. I bet you're excited about that Jonas title, huh, Max?
Let's talk about a real game that people care about. Last week I told you guys about how Valve unveiled Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and that's going to be a thing. Today we've got some more thrilling news from the House of Newell. Some leaked Dota 2 screenshots.
Oh.
If you're familiar, Dota, or Defense of the Ancients, began as a community-created Warcraft 3 mod, and it really reached a crazy level of success. And now Valve is in the final stages of prepping the full sequel. So between this, Portal 2, CSGO, this could mean like 3 Valve games in a year, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
They're all set to do an official unveil of the new game at Gamescom next week while having a massive tournament between super professional teams. But in the meantime, here are the screens, and they look very much like screenshots from a sequel to Defense of the Ancients. So there's that. What I want to know is when is Base Hunter going to make a follow-up to his 2006 Eurodance hit pop song Dota? So, anyway, we've got some news about Mr. Freeze and Arkham City, but first let's take a word from our sponsor. Squarespace is the fastest and easiest way to create a high-quality blog, portfolio, or any kind of website you like. Start your website or blog by choosing from over 60 professionally designed templates and then add content from your computer, iPhone, or iPad. Squarespace's mobile apps allow you to easily add entries and manage comments from anywhere. If you have any questions or need help, Squarespace provides amazing customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Many of the internet's highest traffic web pages are powered by Squarespace, not to mention the personal pages of Revision 3, a host and personality. So check out squarespace.com to get a 2-week free trial and 10% off when you sign up in August. Just enter the coupon code Destructoid8.
The square is my favorite shape.
Well, they have a special space for it on Squarespace.
Wonderful. Let's get back to news.
Anyway, I don't know anyone who's not excited about Batman Arkham City, so it's sort of surprising that Rocksteady is still trickling out new videos and stuff about the game. I sort of figured that their PR department would just call it a day and slack off until October when the game launches. But that's obviously not the case, and that's probably why I don't work in PR. And today, we get a video devoted to Dr. Victor Freeze. Mr. Freeze. Duh. The video has Freeze giving one of his monotone soliloquies that he's always doing. In this one, he sort of sounds a little bit like Christopher Walken. And he basically complains to Batman about how his wife, Nora, was like a beautiful dead flower. If you're unfamiliar, that's basically Mr. Freeze's whole MO. His wife got accidentally sick with some disease and then frozen. So Mr. Freeze decides to try and find a cure, except his way of doing this is going around and committing ice-related crimes. But yeah, he's basically like, Batman, I need your help. You must help me save Nora or die. And then Batman's like, not today, Victor. I'm having a bad day. And then they fight. Personally, I would love to see what happened if Mr. Freeze actually cured his wife. He'd be like, Nora, my beautiful flower petal, you're finally cured. And then she'd wake up and she'd be like, Victor, why are you dressed up like steampunk Buzz Lightyear wearing Chronicles of Riddick goggles? Anyway, I don't know how many more characters Rocksteady can unveil for Arkham City before I get impatient and actually become a crime fighter in real life. But the game comes out October 18th, and we will get some more hands-on time with the game at PAX next week.
Exciting. I'm looking forward
PAX
to
sighting.
it. Yeah.
Or bat sighting.
PC gamers, rejoice. This news nugget is for you. Nix's Software, the developer responsible for the PC version of Deus Ex Human Revolution, has admitted that their version of the game will be the best version to play with absolutely no bias whatsoever. The founders of Nix's was recently quoted as saying, quote, "The extra depth you get from 3D or Eyefinity and the extra crispness of the enhanced resolution, effects, and frame rate really give you superior visuals. And the speed and accuracy that you get from playing with mouse and keyboard compared with a gamepad, at least for me, personally, makes it an easy choice." Yeah, okay, so obviously playing with a mouse is like way easier than playing, with a, what are they called?
Controller?
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, and sure, graphics are way better on a PC, but still.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with this.
Okay.
I will admit that the PC version of games is almost always better than the console version.
Well, Deus Ex is coming out next week, so be excited about that.
Thank you for wrapping up my story for me.
I think Tara needs a nap.
I do.
That's our Monday show, if it wasn't readily apparent. If you're not completely put off by our, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Max Scoville. She's at Tara Longest, and together we are the @Dtoid Show. And of course, we're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Dtoid Show. And you can click on the like button, and we can have 2,000 likes.
2,000.
Almost. Go do that. Also, tomorrow I'm going to be guest hosting MASH Tactics over on the Destructoid Twitch TV channel. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. John Carnage and I are going to be playing No More Heroes HD, and that's going to be on twitch.tv/Destructoid. So say goodnight, Tara.
Good night, Tara.
Good.